you guys ever felt stuck in life? Like, no matter what you did, no matter how hard you work, you weren't really making any significant progress towards your goals moving forward in life. I know that for me, there were many times that I felt that way. So I want to make a video today to share the experiences, lessons, and basically the thought process of how I actually went through that to actually escape the situation. But before I can do that, I do want to give you guys some context. My name is Christian. I'm an occupational therapist. I have about 6 years in the field as a healthcare practitioner. But basically, a huge part of my life, I dedicated it to going to school and basically pursuing this degree. So for a large portion of my life, I had two huge goals, right? And this is kind of where the story started. But basically, I had two huge goals. One was to become an occupational therapist to get this degree, this career that I always wanted. And two is to finally marry the love of my life. My now wife, I'm very, very lucky, but it took a lot of effort. I was in a long distance relationship. It was like a 20-hour time difference. It was difficult, right? But my point is that in the pursuit of these two huge goals, right, even though it was difficult, I felt very alive. I felt that I was chasing after something, I was improving, I was growing. But eventually, after years of hard work, I finally got my goals. I finally became an occupational therapist, and I finally married the love of my life. But one very weird thing started to happen once this happened. Basically, I still remember this. I was about a year into the field. It was during the crazy time during the pandemic. But essentially, I was working really hard, and I started to feel this sense of burnout. I started to feel like, okay, is this how things are right now? I'm just gonna live every day on repeat, just go to work, come back, rest, play my video games. I'm a huge nerd, by the way. So, but basically do that, repeat, and then go back to work and repeat it all over again and again, and not really feel like I'm going anywhere, right? I started to ask myself this, and a year, 2 years went by, and still I felt the same. Nothing really changed. But at some point, I started to wonder, is there really something I can do to make a difference? Like, what was the missing thing? Because while I was in school and I was chasing my wife and all these kind of things, it was very exciting. I feel I was growing, I was moving towards something. But now that I've achieved everything, everything came to a halt, right? I felt stuck, even though I had everything I wanted. And that's kind of what I want to bring to you, because I feel like a lot of people in life feel like that. They feel like they've worked really hard for what they wanted to achieve, but now that they're here, that they've gotten what they actually wanted, they're wondering what the next step is. So after a lot of digging, a lot of research, what I actually figured out was the way that I approach my day-to-day, the way that I approach life was missing a vital component, right? I was missing the fun in it. I wasn't exactly enjoying the process of doing things. And the reason that I actually realized this was that I contrasted why I liked video games so much. Again, I'm a nerd, so you're going to have to put up with me. But I contrasted why I like video games so much. Because in video games, there's this very addictive gameplay loop, right? It's the series of actions that I take in a game that keeps me wanting to keep on playing the game. So I try to break it down a little bit. And there are three things that I realized. Because you need a challenge, right? You need something that is going to push you to try to get better. There's a leveling up process where you're constantly improving and growing at the game. And third, there's this reward that actually makes it all worth it and allows you to go back into the game and take on bigger challenges, right? When you level up, you get to go on and play level 2, level 3, etc., right? So this was what made the video game really fun. But when I looked into my life, at least, I realized that all I was really obsessed about were the rewards, right? I just wanted more money. I wanted a bigger house, right? I wanted to go on vacations with my wife. I wanted all these kind of things. I was only obsessed about the reward, but I stopped thinking about what are the challenges that I'm trying to take on and what are the things I'm trying to level up and grow at. And once I realized this, I realized that because I was missing those components, my gameplay loop in life was incomplete. I wasn't having fun. And because I wasn't having fun, I wasn't feeling motivated to keep on growing and keep on playing. Because of all this, because I started to realize this, I started to really question myself, okay, I needed to start to design how I want to play my ideal life, right? What are the challenges that are going to excite me to take on? What is the process of leveling up? How do I actually learn to grow and to improve so that way I can overcome those challenges? And eventually, what are these rewards that are going to be so valuable, so meaningful to me that I'm constantly going to feel motivated to go through? And the moment I started doing this, right, and a huge example of this is when I first started this YouTube channel. I started this about 3 years ago. It was an extremely awkward moment. I'm a huge introvert. I'm terrible on camera. I got a lot better since. But when I first started, it was extremely difficult. It was a huge, huge challenge for me, right? But because of that challenge, right, I now had something I needed to get better at. And because I needed to improve and get better at something, I started going through the leveling up process. I started to practice, I started to learn, and this brought a lot more excitement to my life because now the rewards that I get is like, oh, this video is a little bit better. And then it repeats again. I take on another challenge, another video, and it kept on going, right? But because I had this gameplay loop, I had this component in my life, everything started to improve. I started to feel a lot more excited to actually go about my day. I started to feel more energized. I started to feel like I'm moving forward again. And this is kind of the thing. Everybody needs this process. And sometimes we've been so conditioned by the routine of life, right, that we forget about this because we feel that we're so busy, we're so overworked, we're so tired all the time that the idea of taking on new challenges or finding something to grow at is just kind of like something we don't even want to think about, right? But because we don't do that, we actually end up burning out a little bit more. So at least what I want to share is that if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like, what is the next step? What do I need to do? Is this all there is? It's not, right? You simply have to find and you have to gain the self-awareness to ask yourself, what is it that you're missing? What are the challenges that you feel are going to be exciting enough to take on? And what are the rewards that's going to be meaningful enough to you? I think this is something that's really, really important because I don't want to be a passive player in life, right? I think I work with a lot of elderly patients, so I hear a lot of these kind of stories. But essentially, a passive player is someone who simply just do as they're told, follow the rules, don't really think too actively about what they're doing in life. And it's very easy to do this because life is so busy. There's so much responsibilities being poured and dumped onto you. And before you know it, you look back, 5-10 years has flown by. At least for me, I realized this like 2-3 years into the field. So I started to kind of snap out of it. But for many people, years and years can go by and you look back and you wonder like, where did all the time go, right? I've simply just kind of going through the motions and suddenly all this time has gone. But life is all about figuring out what are the challenges I need to take, how can I continuously grow, and what are the rewards that's meaningful enough and that I can actually use to take on bigger challenges. You have to create this kind of game for you. And if not, that fire, that excitement for the game is going to disappear. And I always feel that you have to have fun, right? You can't take the game too seriously because it's already hard enough. That's at least what I feel. So at least that's what I wanted to share today. But if you are interested in knowing more about the gameplay loop, the details of it, how to actually implement it, I'm having a 3-day challenge where I basically discuss about it a little bit more, give some actionable tips and tricks, because again, this is something that I've built for many, many years, and it can't be shared so quickly in a video like this, right? There's a lot of nuance to it, and depending on what your goals are, who you are as a person, this can really, really help you out. I believe so, at least, or at least that's what I would hope for many. So if you are interested in getting to know more of what this gameplay loop really is, do check the link down below. Sign up. It's completely free. It's going to be this weekend. And yeah, hopefully I will get to know you guys and the gameplay loop will help you guys out. So time to bring a little bit more fun into your life and start moving forward again. So that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy the content, like the video. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Yeah, my name's Christian, and I'll see you guys again in the very next one. Later.